What's up, everybody?
Episode 5.
Episode 5, Sunday service with Faceman and Meg. I know we're slacking. We're like, one weekend we're on, then we're like off for 2 weeks.
I make no apology for busy people.
It's still slacking because we want to give the viewers, the people that do watch us, so we do appreciate everybody that tunes in and listens on Spotify and watches on YouTube. But it'd be nice to just have a follow-up and continuously go, right? Once a week, like once every Sunday.
We're going to knock a few out. David is off this week.
I am.
So we're going to knock a few out and create like a backlog.
Yeah.
So last time when we ended our videos, you've been a little flustered about recording today, so maybe we need to shut up.
Maybe.
Shall we?
Probably after this episode, I'm going to need like 5. 5 o'clock somewhere, baby.
Not here. All right, so last time when we ended our last episode, we discussed that our next episode, we would be talking about a conversation that we've had over the course of a few years.
Mm-hmm.
We've been dating for coming up on 4 years.
Woohoo!
Woo! Oh, we missed. But we've been having a discussion for the last couple of years that has at times grown tense.
Mm-hmm.
We just have different opinions about if you are going to, man or woman, if you are going to dress a certain way or portray yourself on social media in a certain way, and then you go out and let's say there are people that have seen your social media or just see how you're presenting yourself wherever you are that evening, does that invite attention that may or may not be disrespectful?
Mm-hmm.
We've had the discussion of, does it invite unwarranted and physical touch that is non-consensual?
It can. Not that. Here we go already. I told you guys I'm going to need another shot.
Okay, so I don't think it does.
Okay.
And I think part of it boils down to our definition of invite. So even if somebody has an OnlyFans and they're posting,
I don't hate on them. They make a lot of money.
That's correct. Even if someone has an OnlyFans and they are posting completely fully nude photos and videos of themselves, and then they go out to a bar and let's say someone recognizes them. That's separate. There is absolutely zero invitation because somebody has a job. And even if it's not paying, because someone posts something on a platform, that gives zero invitation for physical touch or attention. Now, I'm not saying someone might recognize someone and they might want to approach them and give them attention, say hello, I'm attracted to you, you're so-and-so, right? I recognize you, whatever, create conversation. As soon as it becomes uncomfortable or unwanted for one party, and I believe that it should be very simple to say, yep, that's me, thank you so much, create a boundary, bye, whatever, done.
100%.
There's absolutely zero invitation for physical touch. There is zero invitation for disrespectful conversation. And where you have held the opinion that you would obviously never approach somebody and be disrespectful to them just because of how they were dressed or how they portrayed themselves, your argument has always been that it is maybe unwise to present yourself in a certain way because you can't control all people and not all people are good people.
Right.
I don't know if you want to elaborate on that.
Yeah, I think I still stand behind that a little bit. It's just unwanted attention. It's not your responsibility. It's not your fault at all if a jackwagon comes around. But you've done this when you've gone out with your girls and stuff, even when you and I have gone out, and I'll there's been times when we came in, I went to the bathroom and didn't sit down with you right away, and like you already sat down and boom, you had like 3 guys around you. And I'm like, yo guys, I was just in the restroom. This is where I'm sitting. It's my lady. So you immediately, people gravitate. And I don't think they gravitate towards you because you're ugly, and that's not a bad thing. Like you're telling them, hey, I'm with somebody, and then they let it go.
Right.
But they do gravitate.
For the most part.
They do. Yeah. For the most part, they do gravitate towards that. So my only argument is always just, you got to be, as much as you want to just, look nice and look great, that's fine. I'm not saying don't, but it does bring attention to you. It does. Like if 2 people walk into a bar and love you ugly people, I don't even know, ugly is, that's just a term. Like 2 people, an attractive person and a not so attractive person walk into a bar, the attractive person is automatically, from the dudes that are in there partying and having fun, is going to get more attention than the unattractive person will.
Well, yeah, that's just a side note. But I have been at bachelorette parties before I met you.
But that's just what's going to happen.
And that did not happen. There have been times where I've been with women at bachelorette parties that were a little more humble looking, and they got a lot more attention. I was like, I didn't exist. But that's a whole other conversation.
Well, what do you, so when, let's just say you're looking at pictures of, let's say you're just in your dating, like when we were both on Tinder doing our thing,
mm-hmm.
Those people's characters are not portrayed in those pictures. You go off the first thing, which is looks. If you're on Tinder and you're looking to get laid, I'm not going for the fucking 400 pounder. And if you like weight, like it's cool. Like I'm not judging you. That's just not my style. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going for the hottie. Like I went for you and you didn't even swipe on me. Like weird.
No, but, I wanted to swipe on you, but I knew that we had mutual friends and I didn't want it to be weird.
It's a running joke. And we'll probably be talking about that when we're like 60. You didn't swipe on me. By that time, it's just going to be in virtual reality and all kinds of crazy shit. But anyway, like if I'm looking for that fun, it's a Tinder thing. I'm just doing this, I'm going to look for the attractive one. So automatically that attractive one gets more attention until obviously character unfolds and you understand, you start learning about the person. So let me rewind that. Same thing in a bar. The attractive person is going to get more attention because looks, that's just what it is. That's life. Like we can't change that. If you're going somewhere, you meet somebody for the first time and you're about to shake hands, you automatically, like, what does he dress like? What does he look? How does he present himself? That's your first impression of somebody.
So let me bring it back. Let me bring it back.
Yeah.
Let's talk about,
I get a little passionate. I'm getting all wound up. Quit being a triggered pansy, David. Go ahead, baby.
So let me ask you this.
Mm-hmm.
Because we have had a lot of this conversation naturally more about women than about men, because women, most women don't typically go up to a guy and get disrespectful or handsy, unless I've noticed though that older women do, especially.
They do that with me a lot.
Yeah. Like I just let it happen.
And they do it in front of you too.
Yeah, I know. I laugh.
See, is that something like,
it's because it's not threatening.
Yeah, is that something like women are cool with that? Like, because with a man, I would not be having that. Like, we're sitting there at the bar. This has happened multiple times at different locations, and they're like, because we talk, we're very social. So, like, we start drinking at a bar, we're having fun. You're sitting next to us. One of us is probably going to strike up a conversation. You're going to hear that she's a realtor. You might hear about my business with VeteranTrashTalk, Gruntworks, that I'm in the Army. And then we strike up conversation.
Explain. I'm a very successful realtor because I feel like there's also those like blonde club rats that sell like one house a year. That's not me.
Okay. Well, I think everybody knows that. Well, I guess for the viewers, they don't. Yeah.
Strangers.
Yeah. Yes. They're very successful, baby. So we strike up conversation, we're having fun, and then just more people gather, and it just always becomes a fun night. It's never really any drama. But then sometimes women will be like, older women, especially, like this has happened so many times. They're like, come on, David, come on, sugar, let's go
to the dance floor.
And they're like, oh man, your husband's so hot. And, like, but it's okay. Like she laughs. Like if the roles were reversed, like fuck that, bro. Like I wouldn't see that as like. And that's a double standard, isn't it? Like we're kind of talking about double standards right now. I don't want to veer too far off topic, but that's, No, not cool. Why is it okay for women to do that to your man when, you know, like for me, and I think I can speak for a lot of men, again, is my personal opinion, they wouldn't like that. Yeah. Like if some older dudes were like trying to take you onto the dance floor, like she's hot, you know, ooh, I wonder. So I mean, they've literally like, just, I wonder how he's in bed. Is he good? You know, like they've said some fucking crazy shit.
Yeah.
You don't ask me how my woman is in bed. Like that's none of your business, you know?
Well, they've never, I don't think anybody does.
I'm saying but the roles were reversed, you know?
That. Yeah. So I think it boils down to threat level, like in that conversation. So
that's a good assessment, baby. That's
there is, and I also think it boils down to intention. Like those old ladies know you're not going home with them. Like they know.
Dude, we've met some where they go home with us.
Ew. We don't do that.
100% don't do that. I'm just saying, like some of them might have that intention in there. Like we don't know what their intentions are.
Well, I would say 99.9% do not. But I know that nothing is happening.
Right.
And I know as a woman, no one's gonna like roofie you and throw you over their shoulder and take you out while I'm in the bathroom, right? There's no threat level.
There is with women though.
Like from a man's perspective?
From a woman's perspective, like the threat level of getting roofied and stuff.
Yeah. So I think men are more aggressive. I think men communicate men process their insecurities different than women. So like if a woman is insecure, we're just going to tear down that other woman. Like, oh, did you see me? And we talk, right?
Y'all are
when men
savage.
get insecure, what I've noticed is that they get controlling and they get aggressive. And those control and aggression are birthed out of male insecurities. And I feel like petty, catty, gossip, evil is birthed out of female insecurities. So part of that is just a straight up threat level. But that's neither here nor there.
Right.
So backing back up to the double standards, what I know our kind of communication breakdown has always been is the level of responsibility that I have to myself to protect myself. So personally, I don't feel like I should have to dress a certain way or cover up a certain way or be worried about if I'm smiling too much or not smiling enough, or if I have an itch and David's in the bathroom and a guy walks by while I'm turning my head and I just happen to scratch, if I'm like drawing attention, like I shouldn't have to worry about like basic stuff. Like it's not my responsibility if a man cannot control his basic human sexual desires. That is not my problem.
Isn't that something that comes from the Stone Age, though?
I don't care where it comes from.
Because we always,
like, it's not my problem. We're not in the Stone Age.
No shit. But we always talk, and I think we've evolved as a society. If you compare like Middle Eastern countries and stuff, where women, some women aren't even allowed to drive, and they have to stay covered up. They can only show their eyes. So
it's also not my problem if we lay the bar so low because other countries women have no rights. We lay the bar on the ground and men still can't get over it.
I'm just throwing out a comparison. I'm not saying it's right or wrong.
Yeah,
it's obviously wrong that we still live in Middle Ages in some countries. In my opinion, like we should get the fuck over it. Like women,
and I don't think
Afghanistan,
we should compare
like women
ourselves to countries.
Well, there's
below the
right, but if we're going to talk about it, if we're going to talk about a standard and something that exists, it's always good to show comparisons. Because then what are we basing it off of? Like I'm basing it off of like
equal rights. We're basing it off of equal rights,
right? Which
and
we
how
have.
Men are treated,
right? Which we have, but I'm basing it off of like our internal programming and where we came from. So like it's internally like men like they want to breed. They want to make more kids. A lot of men think with their that's just like. It's that automatic sexual, what do you want to call it? Sexual frustration, sexual whatever. Like it's like, it's a man thing. Like, oh, she's hot. I need to go. I need to make baby. It's like that internal programming. And that's how we were brought up. And obviously we're getting away from that. We have women in the workforce. We have women that are super successful. possibly a female president one day, you know, like I'm all about it. Like I have no issues whatsoever with any of that. However, I think a lot of it comes from, and you and I talk about this a lot, like internal programming and how we came up at, how we've evolved as a society.
Right. And my point is that
hunter-gatherer, you know, type shit, you know?
My point is that somebody else's internal programming, whether positive or negative, is literally one, none of my business, and
of course
two,
not.
None of my responsibility.
Of course not.
So from where I come from is if I start just like, well, you know, over here in this country, they can't even drive or vote or speak without being spoken to or whatever. I have a lot of freedoms, but you know, we haven't evolved completely to equal rights yet, meaning we haven't gotten to the point yet where women can go out at any time of night without having to worry about being drugged and raped. We haven't gotten to the point yet where I can interview for a job with another man and just not even have it come across my mind that they might not be thinking in the back of the head, well, what if she gets pregnant here in the next couple of years? And now we're all of a sudden paying for her to not be here while paying somebody else. Like those 100%. Social barriers were not 100% equal yet. The pay gap is still there.
100%.
Like the double standards are still there, right? We're getting better, but we're not there yet.
And you mentioned getting drugged or raped. Like it's horrible, but that comes because a man is more powerful than a woman. And
sure.
And they will take advantage of that. It's horrible. Just like me, I should probably not.
I shouldn't say that has never happened to a man because
women, yeah, but it's
far more prevalent.
Like if you look at domestic violence and stuff, there are men that have been abused too, 100%.
Absolutely.
But when it comes to rape, I would just venture on to say that more women have been raped than men.
Sure.
You know, and it's wrong, obviously, but you know, situation like. Men face like me walking through the hood in Chicago at 2 a.m, I might get shot. You know, I probably shouldn't be there in the middle, or, you know, I don't want to throw out like Chicago, but Chicago's a pretty bad place from what I hear, or like Baltimore, or, you know, like it's just dangerous.
Area.
Correct. It's just dangerous.
Any area that has high crime rates, that's the real term.
Right.
Not bad.
You walking by yourself in the middle of the night at 2 a.m. down the road anywhere probably is a little more dangerous, you know, which is, it's not right, but that's just the way society is right now. We have not evolved to a place where everything is safe. Where everything is safe, where everybody shares the same values and opinions like we do. It's just, we're not there yet. Now, is it your responsibility? No, you should be able to just feel safe wherever you want to feel safe and do whatever you want to do. Like that's without being affected by anybody else, but that's just not, we're not there yet. We're evolving as a country and as a, you know, like we're getting to where we need to be, but we're not.
So the point that I'm at is that I just don't give a fuck.
Right.
If I don't want to wear a bra when I go out, I'm not going to wear one. And if you want to be a sleazeball and like make a comment about it, that is not my problem.
Correct.
And not my responsibility. And the only person that looks bad when you make that comment is you.
Right.
And if I
sex sells though, and more people will look at you. You are going to bring more attention to you, just plain.
So period. Why is it that you're able to wear a bright white sheer shirt that says only infantry that looks like an OnlyFans logo, and no one's going to be like, hey, David, do I see?
Because women, and we talked about this. Yeah, but we talked about this 10 minutes ago. Is because women they have a different outlook other than men. Like they don't. When women want to flirt and stuff, they're not like as aggressive as men. You literally stated that like 5 minutes ago.
Sure.
So,
but here's my thing: is that if
we joke about people that we've hung out real quick, babe. We've joked about people that we've hung out with that like can't, like when I look at you, obviously, like it's just, you're gonna stare like boobs. Holy shit. I love boobs. It just is what it is. So now like, and maybe you want to, you know, preface or bring up the whole nipple thing and Victoria's Secret and how like they fucking, you explained that all that. You gave me a breakdown, but I can't help it. Like I'm a boob guy. I love boobs. So a man's going to look at boobs. Sex sells. It just is what it is. That's society.
And that's not my responsibility.
It's not your responsibility, but it's going to garner more attention.
And that is not my responsibility.
Correct. But if I go on Facebook Live right now or on Facebook and make a real estate video, even if I'm just wearing a tank top or whatever, and then you go on there looking like this, which you look beautiful right now, and you do a real estate video, how many times are our phones going to go ding, 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 or whatever the sound is when we get DMs? You're going to get them all. And a lot of them will be business, because when they, when you present whatever you're talking about, like, holy shit, she knows what she's doing, which you do. I mean, that's the reason you make so much money, but like, you're gonna, because of your appearance.
And that is not my responsibility.
Nobody says it's your responsibility.
That's the point right there, is that people do. Because what happens, I mean, let's just be real here. What happens if I went out to the bar and we were having fun or whatever,
Yep.
Whatever happens, and you're not there for some reason, and I'm drugged, even if I'm not taken home, even if I just like get sick at the bar and paramedics come, which happens to plenty of girls, they don't even make it to getting raped.
Thank God. Yeah.
Thank God. Some just die. But anyways, if something happens to me, there will be people immediately, and it doesn't even matter how fast they do this, but they will immediately. There will be some people that are like, well, yeah, I mean, when you tattoo yourself and wear a low-cut shirt, like, you can't expect nothing to happen. Like, at what point do we say, no, actually, I do expect nothing to happen?
Right.
Actually, I expect that if I wear pasties, that doesn't give anybody the excuse to rape me.
Yeah, well, it's not an excuse. They're just vile and evil and horrible people.
No, but I'm saying, until we change the narrative and stop saying, well, what did you expect to happen? I expected to be able to go out and enjoy myself and go home safe. That's what I expected.
I would never sit here and say, what did you expect to happen?
I'm not saying you do, but
I would just say in general,
people do.
It's just attracting. Like, it's just like, don't go like swimming in the ocean with shiny shit on, because sharks are fucking more, they see shiny shit.
Sharks also don't have souls and a sense of moral responsibility.
But I'm just, again.
So essentially, you're comparing men to animals right now, and then.
Men are animals. I was saying that
No,
earlier.
they're not. They're not, though. They're human beings.
Okay. But they have that animal instinct of wanting to procreate and breed. And,
no. But the difference is that men and women both have souls, and we have a sense of morals. We have a code of conduct.
Correct.
Conduct. I didn't say that.
Conduct.
Right. Conduct.
A code of conduct.
But men are not animals.
I'm not saying all are.
But if you talk about internal programming, from the time that men are little babies, it's boys will be boys. Oh, that little boy climbed up to the top of something and jumped. Boys will be boys. Oh, that little boy threw rocks at that girl and pulled her. Boys will be boys. And it's just these boys just have this animalistic, wild heart. Boys will be boys. But what do girls know growing up? Girls know that you need to, even from the time we're little girls, 2 years old, and our moms are putting shorts on under our dress because, we can't really control them and teach them how to close their legs and not show anything and stay all buttoned up and tidy when they're 2. We can't expect that of them, so we're going to put shorts on them. Right?
Yeah.
Boys were like, go run around half naked in a diaper. Like, no one cares. You can show your nipples. You're not only are you a baby, but you're a boy. Boys will be boys, but girls, no. We need to cover everything until you learn how to cover yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So no, men are not animals. Men are excused from a very, very young age. And then that excuse is, well, we just have these animalistic tendencies. So do women. We're just expected.
You're saying all men are excused. I don't feel like some men are just raised right, the others aren't.
That's true.
Like, I'm not like, and I know plenty of my friends that are not like that. Like, I'm very respectful to women, always have been.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm gonna treat a woman with dignity and respect. Like, I'm not gonna just go and slap a woman's butt if it's unwanted. Like, that's just not my style. That's not my characteristic. Even though being Italian, you would think maybe my dad's pretty fucking wild, like this,
he would never do something.
He would never do anything like that, but he'll like compliment you, or whatever. It's just like, I don't know. It's just it's how we were raised. That's all it is. And
right.
Again,
and how a man is raised is not my responsibility.
It's
and I'm
not. It never has been.
I am not going to choose how I dress and what I post and how I act, because I may or may not come into contact with a man who was raised wrong.
Yeah.
I'm not going to let it control me, because here's the thing, is that you and I right now, we are in this, normal world. I would say is fairly normal. When you get into, and I don't know how to say normal, I might even edit that out. You and I are in an everyday life type of situation, right? Mm-hmm. So I grew up homeschooled and in the church. So for us right now, me wearing this, what I'm wearing right now, and I go out, yeah, it might garner some extra attention or whatever.
Okay, so
if I wear this in a church,
it's game over. Like, what the fuck are you thinking? Right.
Because at that point, with how they were raised, their internal programming.
And nothing against religious people.
And this is how I was raised in the church I was raised in. We were literally told as girls that our straps had to be a minimum of 3 inches.
I get it.
Boys were taken out to the basketball courts during youth group and, played basketball and had dodgeball tournaments, while women were inside having a modesty talk.
Right.
Okay. 2 different ways of being raised and brought up. And at some point, you have to draw a line. There are 70-year-old women that get raped bringing in their own groceries, and they're wearing like dresses that go up to here, and like they have walkers.
Of course. And a lot of rape victims, a lot of, I don't know what the percentage is on that, but if you look at some of the stuff, a lot of it, rape sometimes is not even about like the looks of the other person. It's more about control and having the power over somebody else. They're fucking lunatic psychos. But then rapes, when you hear about rapes,
say like, "Oh, that child seduced me." So
I get, dude.
Awful.
Oh.
But that's what I'm saying.
But then when you look at like rapes that occur in like colleges and stuff, it's just it's.
But that's what I'm saying is that, so when a pedophile says, "Oh, this child seduced me," everyone's like, "Oh, you sick fuck." Right. Or someone is like, "Oh, I just couldn't resist myself from that 70-year-old woman bringing in groceries, and I attacked her in her own home." It's like, you sick piece of shit. Right. Then why is it any different when somebody attacks a woman who's wearing a tank top and shorts at a bar? It is no different. It's acceptable to accept that narrative, because there is a level of belief that, yeah, that girl wanted it.
Right. So
why? Because we wore a tank top?
It boils down to that internal programming, though, right?
Which is not my responsibility.
Correct. But it does boil down to that. Like here in Phoenix, like we have a lot of like abductions, I guess you call them, right? You wouldn't call it kidnapping but abductions, like women being like almost happened to you, being pulled into a minivan or whatever. And then you end up across the border and you disappear forever. If those kidnappers had a selection of 5 women in front of them, they're going to pick the most attractive one out of the group, because that's going to sell the most or whatever.
The easiest target.
Well, no, if they were just like, here, you can have these 5. Here's the 5. You can only pick one, but your abduction is going to be successful. They're going to pick the more attractive one.
And that's why a lot of women who have been attacked cover their bodies and like let themselves go, don't do their hair, don't keep up with their appearance. Like,
it's a societal issue.
Trauma response.
It's a societal issue, and it's something that needs to be fixed from a society standpoint, where like how we look at people and how we should perceive people and everything. It needs to be fixed at that point. No, it's not your responsibility to make others.
How do we do that?
How do you fix a huge societal problem?
It starts with obviously education and resources from a young age to grow a healthy internal programming. That's how you fix it, right? So that doesn't help us right now.
Right.
So right now, my perspective is I am not going to live in fear, and I am not going to express myself through my clothing and through my appearance in a way that that fits a narrative where I think I may be more protected. Mm-hmm. Because I'm not going to live in fear of a man who has an unhealthy internal program that says he has entitlement over my body. If there's a man that thinks that because of how I dress or how I speak online or whatever, that man can go fuck himself. And yeah, he might do something to me in the process, but I'm not going to live in fear of that happening every day. I'm just going to live my life. And if someone wants to be shitty, that's not my problem. Mm-hmm. And does that mean that I might have some trauma? Yes. Do I? Yes. Has something happened before? Yes. But you know what? I won't sacrifice my autonomy over my own body and over my own freedom just because that may or may not happen again. I will not do it.
Yeah. I've seen you sacrifice like your appearance in certain life situations.
How so?
Real estate. If you're meeting in business, if you're meeting like,
I wouldn't consider that a sacrifice.
It is. It's not showing your full autonomy and who you are. If you're covering up your,
I'm in control of choosing how I brand my business and how I brand myself in my business.
Well, on social media and stuff, you're who you are. But then I've seen you go to like high-end buyers, like bigger buyers, and you're wearing a long sleeve to cover up your tattoos and stuff. That is definitely not, being who you are.
I disagree.
Well, why would you cover them up if you're like set and like you should not be responsible, like how they perceive you, but you have faced challenges. And this is not even just appearance and like your physical. This is based off of like tattoo because it's jacked up, right? You've told me so many times that you've faced some challenges when people like see your neck tattoo, right? And they're like, she's got a neck tattoo. Like we joke around when we go to the gas station and I'm like, better watch her. She's stealing right now. It's a running joke. But then as soon as you open your mouth and start talking, oh shit, she's got it down. But initially, you're not portraying 100% who you are from the physical appearance. By covering up, well, I got to cover up my tattoos on this one, I don't want them to.
We had to take a little interruption because we had a knock at the door by a solar salesman.
They're hounding us like they're freaking, appearance, new house, new people.
So
we're attracting them all.
So we were talking about how when I go on different types of real estate appointments, how I wear long sleeves or whatever. So I don't see that as sacrificing personal autonomy. I see that as taking responsibility in my branding. It's the same that it's the same thing as me not posting hardly anything political because I have a lot of clients as well as friends on my social media. And I just don't feel the need to brand myself on any certain wing, right or left. I don't feel the need to make that part of my brand. And in the same way, when I go to an appointment of somebody I don't know, I don't feel the need to make this part of my brand. It's actually the opposite. It's complete autonomy and control over my own business, over my own brand, and how I...
Well, I shouldn't be part of your brand, though.
I just choose not to make it that.
Why?
And I have that freedom of choice.
Right. Of course, but why?
So, one, it has nothing to do with feeling like I'm going to get raped at an appointment.
And that's
not it.
I'm specifically literally just talking about the tattoos.
So for me, It is, I am
because your
going
looks
to-
are still there, obviously.
Sure.
I'm just talking about the tattoos in general, which again is a perception.
So sometimes
California wouldn't be a big deal because
where I'm from.
Right. California, nobody would care, but then
That's not true. Some people do.
Well, not nobody, but I'd say less, right? Like if you're going to Scottsdale and you're dealing with a 60-year-old man.
Well, no, it depends on where in California. California is a very big state. So I don't brand myself based on the price point of a home. I brand myself based on the research I do on that particular person. Mm-hmm. And just like when I know, because I do research on people, I know when I walk into a listing that I'm probably going to see some kind of sports team on the wall, or I'm probably going to see some kind of, something that I can relate to. If I do my research and that person is an Ohio State Buckeye fan, guess what? I'm probably going to wear a red shirt. Because I'm probably going to be like, oh, Ohio State, go Bucks. I'm not like, it's the psychology of winning somebody over, connecting with them and gaining their business. And part of that is branding. Part of that is just a human desire to connect. Part of it is the psychology behind it. However, if I look somebody up and I do some research and they're highly religious and they look a little old school, yeah, I'm probably going to cover up my tattoos if they look more conservative, because I am connecting with them in a business transaction. It has nothing to do with bodily autonomy. Zero. In the same way, if you're a nurse, you're not going to go in and perform a procedure on someone and not wear gloves because you're like, well, I don't feel like I should have to. No, that's just part of your job. It's different.
Okay. Sleeping on the couch tonight. Obviously joking. No, this was good discussion. Again, and let me bring it back real quick. Again, it is not your personal responsibility to, affect how others perceive you and look at you when, you're going out. No, it's wrong if a man thinks that that's inviting and an opportunity. However, in my opinion, again, and I'm just going to leave it at that because we can agree to disagree. We're both somewhat on the same. I think we both agree with each other for the most part. I always say that it just garners more attraction to somebody, which
puts you at a higher level of risk.
I think you worded it the best. And whether it's right or wrong, well, it is wrong.
And one last thing is that, yes. So right now, let's say that this outfit going out puts me at a higher level of risk.
I'd hit on you if I didn't know you.
Great. And hitting on me is not dangerous.
What if I'm a dangerous person?
Then that's different. Then
and I'm just walking. I'm just
walking.
That's
not my responsibility.
It's not your responsibility.
But what I'm saying though
not.
is that now. Okay, but hang on. So right now, if I wear this, I am more likely to be hit on than if I wore a big oversized T-shirt.
Yes.
Right. Okay. So let's stop there.
We can agree on that, right?
Now,
can we agree on that?
Yes.
Yes.
So if it was only socially appropriate for women to wear big oversized T-shirts, and a big oversized T-shirt was normal, and then a girl wore a big oversized T-shirt that maybe was even a little bit sheer, well, now, you're more safe if you wear a big oversized T-shirt that's not sheer and that's a dark color. And then it's like it goes up and up and up, and where's the line?
Of course.
So we have already moved the line so far.
We're ascending. We're not,
We are moving towards equal rights.
Correct.
So what I am saying is that I refuse to go backwards out of mere risk assessment. I value equal rights more than I value a potential possible risk because somebody else is shitty.
Yeah. I guess, yeah. And that's, and right
and
there.
as somebody who doesn't have to deal with being on the lower end of equal rights, I don't expect you to understand that.
Correct. And that's fine. I will take a risk assessment and evaluate a situation, and I will take, you know, cautious steps when engaging or when I'm involved in whatever. Like I will, yeah, I'll live on the safe side.
I'll live on the wild side.
And that's good. That's why I love you.